Hello, Sonoma County. Hey, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to talk about new construction homes. We here in Sonoma County have been seeing a massive amount of new construction. And from what I understand, it's going on in a lot of places throughout the country. We've had, there was a lull in construction, not just in the past 5 or 10 years, but really over the past 20 years.
Yep.
We have not seen the new home construction that we, I guess we could say, should have been seeing. And you'll hear a lot about now the shortage of housing, and it's partially because of that. I think here in Sonoma County too, we've had a couple big events over the last few years. Of course, our big fires in 2017 where 5,000 homes were burned. So of course the focus the following years after that was getting these people
rebuilding,
back in their
not
homes.
new building.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's still going on now.
Currently.
6-7 years later, you just can't rebuild 5,000 homes overnight.
Right.
But at the same time, I think that brought some builders from other areas that have now, from what we hear, have kind of hung out.
Yeah.
And now there is this surge.
Yeah, it
Post-pandemic.
certainly shed light on the fact that Sonoma County needs more housing.
Yes.
Yay!
Oh my gosh. Desperately.
Yeah, and
needed
these
more
builders
housing.
acknowledge that, so they've stuck around, and the amount of new construction communities we've had more recently is so exciting.
Yeah.
It is so exciting, and we've definitely immersed ourselves in that new construction realm.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, and it's kind of fun for our buyers too, because it's an option that hasn't really been available
Previous years.
except for a few different places, but not in the abundance that it is now.
Right.
So it is kind of fun that they can go and explore actually a new construction option when they're looking to buy a home. But there are certain things you need to know when you're purchasing a new home. And today we want to go through some of the top tips and tricks and things you do need to know if new construction is the route you end up going.
Absolutely.
But first, I'm Julie.
And I'm Morgan, and we help people move into, out of, and all around our darling Sonoma County every year. So if you're thinking about making a move, you're probably watching this video figuring out maybe if new construction's for you or maybe if Sonoma County is for you. Well, we can help with both. Lucky for you. And we would love to. So if you're thinking about making that move in the next 30, 60, 90 days, maybe a year from now because you're not quite prepared yet or the job transfer won't go through until then, that's fine. Let's start the conversation. We can give you a ton of resources, guidance, and tips for preparing to make it as smooth as possible so you can make Sonoma County your new home sweet home. So let's dive into our 6 tips that you must know when you go in to buy a new construction home. And you're gonna hear the same topic in every single one of these tips. Because it should be, shouted from the rooftops is make sure you have your own representation. The builders are most often going to want you to go with their salespeople, but these next 6 protections we're going to tell you about are things that they don't forwardly tell you as clear enough when you go in and often talk to their sales rep. You want your own, and you have the right to have your own representation, aka real estate agent, to help you out and guide you through that new home process. I mean, it's still a big purchase, it's still a big commitment to take on, and it's different than a resale. And there's a lot you should know about it. So let's dive into those 6 different process or tips to show you how your real estate agent, or we, will help you through that process to make sure you are informed and protected all the way through.
Yes.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, tip number 1, do your research.
Yes.
So we are seeing here all different kinds of builders that are building these homes, from big builders that build big home communities all across the United States to smaller builders who are building just a block or two, maybe 10 or 12, 15 units.
Right.
We wouldn't really call it a whole new community or new subdivision. So there's different kinds of builders. Research these builders. Find out what their reputation's like, what the quality of their homes. It's easy to find reviews online nowadays.
And thankfully it makes it a lot easier.
And a lot of times they'll give you names and numbers of homeowners that have agreed to talk to you and give their opinion and what it's been like living in the homes these people have built. So research their quality. Do they stay on time?
Right.
If they say this house is going to be built by a certain date,
right,
and you're kind of making your move around it and vacating wherever you are now, whether it's across country or even just from city to city or within the city, you got to make sure that they are reputable enough and smart enough to be realistic with their timelines. And then I think, as with any home purchase, research the neighborhood you're buying in.
Yes.
I think it's so fun to go look at these new builds, because of course you walk in and the model homes are so pretty and the communities look so nice, but what's going on outside that given little community that you're going to drive into every night? But what are the neighborhoods like outside of the new build community? What amenities are nearby? What are the schools like if you have kids and are going to be enrolling them in school? What's your commute going to look like? What's it like getting onto the freeway if you need to every day? Noise levels around you and so on. I mean, like I said, that I think goes for any kind of home purchase, but certainly in the new builds, because a lot of times they're in areas that maybe haven't already been built up, or they're kind of, of course you have to go into kind of the outskirts of town, but they're kind of the bigger home build communities because they're looking for bigger pieces of land. So do your research. You got it.
Now, tip number 2, get a home inspection. Now, this may seem a little funny because you're buying a brand new house, so what could possibly be wrong with it? We have some very interesting stories, and just give us a call and we can tell you a whole list of them, but we'll give you a few quick ones here. So getting an inspection, even on a new construction home, is absolutely crucial. This is not something that the home builder is going to suggest you do if you go through their office. They're going to tell you, this house is great, move right in. And maybe it is, but maybe it's not. And so when we've represented clients that buy these new homes, we still have a home inspector come through. They're gonna check to make sure all the electrical wiring is correct. The plumbing is all, connected and affixed. The roof is safe. The foundation looks good. I mean, they're building a lot of houses at the same time, and the crews are hopping from one house to the next, doing the electrical, the plumbing, the drywall, the roof, all those different pieces. You wanna make sure that something wasn't missed or overlooked. And that's oftentimes all it is. It's usually not a quality of building issue. These houses are usually very sound and beautiful, but sometimes because these crews are working so diligently and quickly from one house to the next, sometimes things get missed. For example, we'll give you 2, I'll give you 1, and Julie can give you 1. I had one where client, the house is beautiful. We walked into it, and you get to do your final walkthrough at the end, make sure that, the paint's perfect. And I mean, it's a brand new house. It should be pretty darn perfect, right? Make sure everything's ready to go. We brought in the home inspector. Well, everything looks good on the inside, but of course we didn't go on the roof. And the home inspector goes up on the roof, and there was a spot about this big, missing shingles. Just missing shingles on the roof. But it was kind of at an angle that you wouldn't be able to see it no matter where you stood on the street or in the backyard. So unless you got on the roof, you would have had a whole chunk missing shingles. That could lead to leaks and wood damage, and just, you don't want any of that. So simple enough, we went back to the builder and said, hey, house checks out great, except we want all the shingles on the roof. The builder didn't realize that either. The roofing
was a little embarrassed.
And was a little embarrassed and happy to fix it. So when those little items come up, let the builder know and they'll fix it, and then we can move forward.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Well, it's similar to my story. I had the same thing. Convince the buyers to get a home inspection. Sometimes we get a little pushback on it because it is a brand new home.
Right.
They don't see why they should be spending, $600-700 on a home inspection. Well, sure enough, at this house, the main drain, when you would drain your tub in one of the bathrooms, wasn't hooked up to the tub drain. So if they went and took a bath, let all the water out, it was just going under the house. It could have been years before that was discovered.
That.
Yeah. And again, just amazing that it was missed. This house passed final inspection. So, even the inspectors, the city inspectors, they're moving quickly, finaling these things. Maybe he didn't quite crawl under the house. I don't know, but it was missed. And again, the builder was just, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, and immediately got it fixed.
Right.
But it's just the stuff you need to know, and you're in the position to leverage the builders. They're actually happy to make those repairs.
Right. They want to hand off a brand new house in perfect condition. That's what they promised to do, and that's what they want to do. But things come up, people make mistakes, things can get missed. So that's our responsibility to help you ensure that nothing gets missed and that perfect, beautiful, brand new home that you are planning to move into is exactly that.
And so, great segue to tip number 3. Find out what the warranties are. These new home builds.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, because they do. The builders will warrant their work. Each builder has a different kind of warranty. You know, when you're dealing with some of the bigger builders, it's pretty uniform throughout all of their communities that they build. And, you know, after you buy the house, they may not even be here anymore. That's okay. But they do warrant their work. It's usually, you know, a few years, a couple of years, certain things covered the first year. It might be a little less the second year. And then, you know, here in Sonoma County, well, in most of California, new home builds now have to either be solar ready or solar already installed on some of our new builds, which is really a cool bonus. And then the solar company will have their own warranty that'll come with it. And you'll get all of this, but we'll make sure that you understand all of it and that it's explained really well so you know exactly what's covered. You know, appliances will be covered with something else. I have a buyer right now moving here from back east, and she bought a new home, but it was a smaller community where the builder only built, I think it was 12 homes. And he has been so wonderful. And like he says, he goes, I live here in this town.
Yeah.
I stand behind what I build. And he does have his written out warranties, but he's been a great guy, and I think he truly will stand behind what he built. So we will help you learn about and navigate through what kind of warranties are included in your new home purchase.
Yeah, I mean, as an example, I had a client actually purchase. It was in a Roanoke Park neighborhood in a pretty big subdivision, and for the first 2 years it had a full house warranty. If anything at all goes wrong with the house for 2 years, everything's covered. And then after that it had a builder's warranty, so it's more structural at that point. But for 10 years you had a I mean, that is a lot of peace of mind for these, you know, whether you're a first-time home buyer or just planning to, you know, buy a long-term house, so you want to buy something new and clean. That's a big peace of mind and protection for these buyers.
For sure.
Yeah. So how about getting into these properties? You know, a lot of times we talk to our clients and they say, well, should we go talk to the people in the office? Should we use their lender? Are there incentives? Are there better ways to go about all of this? Well, the answer isn't always direct because it depends on the builder and it depends on the sales office. But first and foremost, we always say if you want your own representation, your own realtor and agent to help guide you through this process, you cannot go to that sales office. This is probably the most important factor. You cannot go to that sales office and sign in on your own. You have to go for the first time with your real estate agent. And we're happy to go. We love going to those we love going to those new home builds. I swear. It is like, it's a treat for us.
Super fun.
It's really fun. We'll show you exactly what to do. We'll walk you through it and really kind of help you pick apart, you know, which floor plan is best for you and all that. But if you go and sign in without us, we cannot be a party to the transaction with you. So if you take anything from this video, it's bring your agent to your first visit at these new home builds. And then from there, we can find out what incentives are going on, what you can maybe negotiate with the builder. And you'd be interested that sticker price is not always set in stone. They oftentimes have incentives. Maybe if you do use the lender, the preferred lender at the builder, they'll give you a closing cost credit, maybe an upgrade credit. And I've seen these credits be anywhere from $2,500 to like $10,000.
We have a build here in town. It was the buyer I was just talking about. She ended up not buying in that community, but they were doing a $40,000 credit. So it depends with these new builds how the places are moving. I mean, there's a cost for these contractors to hold. So if they're seeing a lull in sales, they're going to offer this, and that credit could be used towards upgrades. There was an HOA in this community. She could have paid forward her HOA. She could have used it towards closing costs or a combo of all of them. I was like, whoa. I mean, that's a little unheard of, but that was pretty wild.
I think most you'll probably see are between like $2,500 and about $10,000, but hey, if you can find one with $40,000, I would very seriously consider that property.
I thought it was funny. It still didn't tip the scales for her to buy there, though.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, because everybody has their style and everybody has their, you know, desirable location, and maybe that wasn't quite it, even with the $40,000 benefit. So we'll kind of help you navigate that. Now, a lot of times having your own lender that really takes the time to educate you on the financial side, as well as us educating you on the home purchase side, is going to actually set you up better than that little credit would actually help you. So while the credit can be an incentive and can be a bonus, it's not the end all be all, and it may not overall in the big picture make enough of a difference for you to forego your own mortgage lender. And we'll help you through that. And then lastly, there are some discounts sometimes, and there are different upgrade options. So oftentimes when you walk into these model homes, they are perfect. They got all the extra bells and whistles. Your home may not have all the extra bells and whistles, so maybe negotiating some of those different pieces to get into contract on your new build is something we can help you with, and make sure that you are paying the right price for the right home in the right condition.
Yeah, those are so important. This next tip number 5 here, is kind of a tip for once you are in contract on a new build. You want to keep a close eye on the construction process. Be in contact with the builder and the building office, and we will be in contact with them as well with you.
Yep.
Be a part of every step along the way.
And don't be afraid to ask those questions.
Don't be afraid. I mean, they kind of like if you just kind of go away and then they call you right before the house is done.
Right.
But don't do that. Request walkthroughs periodically throughout the whole build process. See what's going on. Take some pictures. I mean, how fun is that too, to have pictures of your house when it was just studs or walls? I mean, depending on where you're getting in on the construction process. Like if you are getting in early enough where you got to pick some of your finishes and things, make sure the right things are being delivered and being installed. Really important, again, especially if they're building hundreds of homes.
Right.
It's not they do it intentionally, but things can get mixed up or whatever. So stay really involved in the build process, and we will stay involved with you, of course, and watch the progress along the way. It's really fun.
Yeah.
And also by being involved, you'll know if there's a delay, and like say the appliances are back ordered and it's going to add an extra month, or the carpet's not coming in when they thought it was. But if you're not in constant communication, or at least regular communication, they may forget to point those really important things out that could delay your whole final move at the end. So stay in contact and stay involved in the process.
Absolutely. We'll help you with that. So in my last point, I kind of talked about some of those upgrades. So there are going to be additional costs beyond that sticker price of these new builds. And additional costs can come in a couple different factors. There's possibly an HOA, a homeowners association. There could be Mello-Roos taxes, which are additional, basically bonds to account for the increase in utilities in the city and schools and things like that, just to account for more people moving into town. And then in addition to that, solar, as Julie mentioned. Sometimes solar is included in the sticker price, and sometimes it's something you'll either have to lease or purchase in addition to the purchase price. So that's where we gotta know exactly what your pre-approval is for your home purchase, and make sure we're shopping at a price point that you can buy the house and factor in these extra costs on a monthly or one-time purchase basis. And then there's a few things that when you walk into those model homes, they always have them, but are not necessarily included when you buy your house. And a few of those items are a landscaped backyard. Most of the time they pour a small little concrete pad right outside your sliding glass door, and you got dirt beyond that. So you got a plan that you're gonna have to pay or spend quite a few weekends landscaping your own backyard. Another one is window treatments. There are no blinds. These new builds do not come with one single blind in the house. So to put blinds, and a lot of these new builds do not half step on windows, which is great, so you get a ton of natural light, but that's a lot of windows to put blinds on.
Yeah.
So make sure you're factoring that into your home purchase. A couple other ones are appliances. Most of the time your dishwasher, your stove, and if there's a built-in microwave, those are included. Now what's missing though is your refrigerator and a washer and dryer. A refrigerator and a washer and dryer are often considered personal items. Those are the things that people more often than not move from a house to a house. Most people don't take their stove with them though. So that's why they kind of categorize those as personal items. But when you move into a new build, you probably won't have the fridge and the washer and dryer included, so that will be an added cost.
And when we walk into the model homes, there is always a fridge.
Right, exactly.
And so, you can't always assume that you're getting it as included in your price.
Right, exactly. And then last but not least, the things that are not included, you'll walk into these model homes and they have a beautiful tile backsplash behind the kitchen counter, and they'll have these fun accent walls with the, wainscot or, interesting wall colors, or the bathroom floor tile is this really beautiful marble. Well, that's great and that's available, but that's not standard. There's the baseline products that you can choose from, and they usually have a few different tiles and a few different carpets and a few different
cabinet styles,
things like that you can choose
appliance
from.
Packages.
Exactly. But anything above and beyond that is an extra cost to the builder to put into your home, so it's going to be an extra cost to you. So one thing that I like to guide my clients on is what is something that is going to be more convenient, maybe like a bathroom floor. That's kind of difficult after you move in to rip out bathroom tile and relay bathroom tile. So maybe that would be an upgrade that's worthwhile having the builder do the first time. But maybe things like recessed lighting. That's not that difficult to have, a different contractor or electrician come out and install additional recessed lighting.
I would say the light fixtures, like the fancier light fixtures.
Right.
You can swap those out.
So it's something to kind of play red light, green light with a little bit based on your budget. What makes sense to have upgraded upon move-in, and what makes sense to maybe take on as an after move-in project, to kind of make sure that your budget is staying within the means and it's comfortable enough for you.
Yeah, I think I talked to my clients that are looking at new builds, and if the house they want is already at the very top of the budget, it's probably not going to really work out, because there is the landscaping, the window coverings, and everybody wants to do some upgrades. They take you into these design centers.
Oh, and they got so many beautiful options. Oh my gosh, swoon.
Yeah, and if you don't want carpet and you want like the luxury vinyl plank throughout your house, that's probably an upgrade.
Yeah.
At least in the areas that were intended for carpet, if not everywhere. And you have to weigh those out, and can you afford any of these? And if you can't, are you happy with just the standard equipment?
Right.
It's kind of like buying a car,
Right. And it's still going to be a new house. I almost said car. It's still going to be a new house. It's still going to be wonderful to live in, and it'll be new for years to come, really. And any additions you make to the house or improvements you make to the house over time will be worthwhile. But you have to be comfortable with the condition and the aesthetic of the house upon move-in, whether you can or cannot afford all of the upgrades that ideally would be on your Pinterest board, if you know what I mean. So things to think of and things to account for in the cost side of what could be an additional, budget item.
Yeah, for sure. So I think you guys can see there are still a lot of steps and things to consider along the way, even with the new build that can sometimes seem so straightforward because everything's new. They tell you the house will be done at this date and this is the price and everything's new, but there are so many little things and nuances with a new build that we will help you navigate and negotiate through, which is why, again, we're just going to so emphasize, get your own representation. You need someone in your corner. Someone that's only there. Our due diligence is just to take care of you and negotiate on your behalf and make sure you're getting the best product at the best possible price in the right timelines, and everything's done the way it should be.
Absolutely. It's crucial. It's absolutely crucial. So we hope you found this video useful. If you did, if you're looking for new construction, absolutely drop down in the comments, let us know, and we can actually send you a list of a bunch of the new construction communities right here in Sonoma County. You can kind of peruse, see what those sticker price points are looking like, and then if one catches your eye, we can answer those questions, tell you a little bit more about them, because I guarantee you we've already had clients interested, so we know a lot of those nitty-gritty details of which communities include what and what the real price is going to look like.
Yep, Absolutely.
Again, thank you so much for tuning in. We can't wait to help you in your move here to Sonoma County or into a new location within Sonoma County. If you liked this video, please hit that like button. It means so much to us. That way we know what more content we should create about, informational videos, home tour videos, out in the community, things like that. So hit the like button if you enjoyed this one. Hit subscribe and tap that bell so you're notified when we release more helpful information about all things Sonoma County.
Every week.
Again, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.